All right. Well, before we get in, here is your top 8. We are going to watch Ambivalent Thoughts on Valkyries versus Magikarp on Huru Soldiers. So let's head down to the action for the finals of Spring Challenge number 12. All right, welcome everybody to the finals. I'm about to say round 7. Welcome everybody to the finals. We've got Ambivalent Thoughts. We've got Magikarp. Let's tell the players that they are good to go.
Yeah, so if this was Ambi's first 7, I think you just got them all, even though you're playing first. Like, Line X is great, but with 2 Shadow sigils, you're not even guaranteed to be able to play it. But, feeling that the Line X is powerful enough, I would have looked for more 2-drops, but it is true that Line X can be one of the key cards because a lot of Magikarp's removal spells do not revolve around actually removing the unit. You see that Permafrost and Manacles and Magikarp's hand, and that doesn't match up very well against the Line X. So you're just live for any Valkyrie Warp weapon, just pretty much virtually ending the game through being a 2-for-1 or 3-for-1. So yeah, Magikarp just playing 2-drop into another 2-drop, which is good. I mean, Dovid's like a very powerful one, and then um, okay, so choosing to leave up Ghost Technique, which is pretty interesting. So it doesn't save the Dovid from anything, but can stop maybe a subset of shenanigans. But we're gonna see the Manacles do a lot of work here, just allowing the pushing of a ton of damage and being able to leave up the technique again if choosing to play the Justice Sigil. So this line's pretty cool too. So what playing Permafrost does is it allows you to kind of use your mana a little bit more efficiently. You don't have to worry about bad things happening with the Manacles if that's possible. But might just be there's no wrong way to your Reese's there. But the reason why I would have done it the other way around is I want to save the. Oh, okay, I understand. So just uh, just valuing very much the removal of the line X. Like you don't have many ways to stop that, and that's the main way you lose this game. So I agree with the line there, but and getting rewarded for that effort, here's a heavy artillery that if the line X was still in play, pretty much would have been virtually game over, but
Yeah.
still have a game.
These Valkyrie Warps have been really, really nice tonight. I mean, I know we've talked about it a lot, but not to undersell it, but they've been super nice in this game, in the whole tournament tonight. Every time we've seen them, the Valkyrie Warp just seems super powerful. Notable difference here between Eternal and Magic as well. Going going and finding something out of your deck keeps the keeps the warp on top. So that's the beauty of a digital game. But that is nice that you get to keep your heavy artillery on top.
Well, I do think it's funny that if you look for a relic, it won't tell you which one, or it would in this case because it would have warp.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, like if you scouted it, it wouldn't tell you which one it was.
Sure. Like Jay Quinhall has a nice one. Magikarp has become Gyarados. Nice.
Yeah, I like spelling Gyarados correctly, but getting Magikarp wrong. That's actually really cute. Because I think Gyarados is the harder one to
Oh,
spell.
absolutely.
Or actually, wait, no, that is spelled wrong too. It's Gyr. Okay, never mind. But great, yeah. So I think Magikarp's just always at level 19, on the precipice of doing great things, and just needs that final push.
All right, Warp Lord Stayer's Tower here, and then a heavy artillery behind it. So a pair of heavy artillery is going to be in hand for Ambivalent Thoughts, but that Warp Lord Stayer's Tower going to get double value is pretty nice indeed.
Yeah, you can kind of just shrink the team here if you wanted to, or you can get a little bit of insulation in the armor department.
Yeah, gonna get some armor, and then yeah, make the Linex Molten Wing a 7/7. Rarely, of course. Well, the tower has definitely beckoned tonight. It's been pretty good all
Yeah,
night long.
it's warped quite a few of the games it's been played in.
Indeed.
Okay, so
So you can Vicious
but
Overgrowth the tower, right? Is there any
yeah,
is there any? Yeah.
but
You can
just kind
also
of
just
trying to
kill it in combat. Yeah, that's fair.
yeah. So this one gives you like you get to keep the overgrowth because you might need the reach instead.
True. Good point.
So there's some consideration to holding the overgrowth because you might draw a what is it called? The shock troops, the one
Yep.
drop.
Yeah, shock
But
troops. Yeah.
but the thing is, if you're gonna try and get back in this, it's gonna involve and it's gonna involve any advantage over time, then you just have to be worried about the line X. So once again, pairing off the line X's with the vicious overgrowths, I think is a really good decision. Oh wow, so combust actually unlocks the other thing from
It
the mana
does.
cleave.
Yeah, that's a good answer to the Manacles here. I think that may be part of the reason why this is in the market because it's such a good answer to that, being able to sack one of your units. So the way that this card reads, the way that the Manacles reads is they are stunned while you have it. If either of one readies or dies, you sack it. So sacking one unit unlocks the other. Pretty good, and that's able to also take care of a 4/4. So heads up play by Ambivalent Thoughts there. Nice grab out of the market.
Yeah, and now being able to use the 2/1s from the Dovid to really turn this around and say, I'm going to be the beatdown now. But how big is that diary?
That is a 5/4 Darley. I do
So
love
you can
last
have a
turn.
5/4 and a 5/5?
You could have a 5/4 and a 5/5. I do like last turn also have Ambivalent Thoughts kind of played around that too. You know, Magikarp had the 4/4 plus the Argos technique. So if Ambivalent
Yep.
Thoughts went with the weapon, it would have not worked out well. But being able to get Combust and really get a lot of value and kind of avoid that trap altogether.
Yeah, being able to take a line that has no holes instead was pretty cool. But yet another Valkyrie Warp here. Um,
And then
into another
into a
Valkyrie
watch
Warp if you
warp in
want it.
support, man. Ooh.
But, but yeah, so choosing to play the artillery, just shoving more damage, saying, okay, this Deathwing should be able to hold off most of the combinations of cards you can have. It might be time to just technique for a random soldier and
Might be, yeah.
see
Unfortunately,
what you can
Magikarp
get.
at Magikarp's at 3. It does give
Yeah.
lifesteal, so the 2/2 could potentially get lifesteal. Magikarp may be hoping to
Hmm.
set up a play where Ambivalent Thoughts doesn't play around the lifesteal and set something up. But man, another one. Look at that Deathwing off the top, and again, so much Valkyrie Warp. Keeping the aggression on. We've seen this a lot tonight too. That the Valkyries decks have been quite aggressive, not unnecessarily so, but I like how aggressive they've been with attacking. You know, even when they're at a low life total. You know, if they're not dead on the backswing, we're attacking with units. We've seen that all night.
Yeah, so like clear board states are to the advantage of the Valkyrie deck if you have a relic weapon. So you're just able to deal more damage over time.
Here we see that Argos technique. Now, unfortunately, blocking the Rust Grafter does have decay, so this is going to die in a turn. We saw that earlier, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of why Ambi chose to attack with just the Rust Grafter that already uses its ability.
Didn't really have another option there, but. All right, going to play out Orange Jailer. I'm going to play Detain, give an enemy unit -6 this turn. That's only until the end of this turn, so this attack is lethal on board, right?
Yep.
So, yep. Ambivalent Thoughts going to draw the Hellfire Valkyrie, but that's not going to matter. Magikarp is empty-handed, and Ambivalent Thoughts is going to attack in, and they're going to take game number 1. Remember, the finals is still best of 3, so congratulations to Ambivalent Thoughts for taking game number 1. But Magikarp's not out of it yet. I think that Magikarp probably would like to be on the play in this next one if possible, but Ambivalent Thoughts, not a bad one. Let's get the Boxers deck out of there. You can hear about Boxer's deck on the Backlash podcast. You don't need us to talk about it. All right, this is Ambivalent Thoughts deck. 1 game away from locking in. Now, Ambivalent Thoughts is already locked in anyway, courtesy of their wildcard slot. But, you know, $20 in a trophy sounds a little bit better than sneaking in the last wildcard slot. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. So kind of getting to pick who gets to be the other spot. So either the fifth place person if Ambi wins,
That's
or it's
true.
Magikarp. That's kind of sweet.
That is true. A good point here. All right, Ambivalent Thoughts going to keep a hand of Reappropriator, Defile, and a Lord Stayer's Tower. That's a pretty good one. Magikarp, Daruli, Argos Technique, Orin Jailer, Vicious Overgrowth, Permafrost. It's a little reactive, Magikarp's hand here. They've got that Daruli, but the rest of their hand is pretty reactive.
Yeah, so just hoping for some help off the top
Yeah,
here.
gotta hit a Dovid here into something else.
Yeah, Justice Sigil's not that, so gonna be on the back foot. But if there's any silver lining, this Reappropriator's not coming down, so it has to be a Passionate Stonehammer, which isn't the best threat that they can have. Um, and then into the Lord Steyer's Tower. So
Yeah,
Magikarp really
that's a
hoping
good start.
for a
We were painting here is not going to do it. So Vicious Overgrowth will take care of that unit. Magikarp going to be able to keep the board clear. You know, if you just jumped into this match, you might say like, oh, that's fine. You know, take care of that unit. But this just isn't the game plan that Magikarp really wants to play. This is playing out exactly how Ambivalent Thoughts' deck wants to play out.
Yeah, the problem with playing the Overgrowth that turn instead of playing the 3-drop that makes the Tains, the Orange Jailer, is that if you're not committing anything to the board, it's like kind of rough for you. But I thought the reason behind that was to leave up the technique, but withdrawing the shock troops, just saying, okay, I'm getting far enough behind. Um, it's kind of tough because now you're giving the opponent the option to just make your just neuter your whole team, make them have 0 or less strength, so then now they can't attack. So kind of a tough situation either way for Magikarp.
It is, yeah, and this is where when you're in Ambivalent Thoughts seat, is this what's going through your head? Are you thinking, you know you're ahead? Are you're just thinking, how can I lose this game? How can I end this game as quickly as possible? What's kind of going through your head here? How does it change your decision making?
Yeah, it's kind of just tough, but from Magikarp's side, you really just need to focus on how do I actually get back into this.
Yeah.
So and be choosing to not fully utilize the what is it called, the curfew or something.
The curfew enforcement. Yep.
Um, right, just allows a line like this to end up happening where now you're losing a little bit more equity than you actually wanted to. So that is a way for Magikarp to kind of claw back into this. So first, you need to hope that Ambivalent Thoughts kind of has like a pile of power on top of their deck. But
Yeah.
um,
But when you're this far behind, you just have to make that assumption, right? There's a lot of things you just can't beat, so you gotta say, well, what can I beat, and play that game.
I still think choosing to not fully use the curfew might end up costing Ambi here. Just like
No, that's pretty good.
these units actually matter now, whereas they didn't before. Like if you made them both have no strength, then they couldn't get the tandem on
Right.
the jailer. So a different line, pretty interesting. A little bit curious what Ambi's mindset is there. Probably to like put a little more pressure out there.
Valise a pretty good draw here. Ambivalent Thoughts kind of lucky actually to top deck that Reappropriator with regen because that can stop the overwhelm. But Valise would be pretty good here with those overwhelm on these units. I mean, it's still good either way. Oh, the permafrost actually. Permafrost's going to take that out.
Right. So just trying to shove max damage, and then
double
the
damage on
important
this
part,
too.
Yep. And then the important part is you just that's just lethal. That's 18. Real math.
Yeah. Just lethal.
Yeah,
Nice.
so Ambi ended up being punished for not, fully neutering the opponent's units, but I understand that it seems like the Deathwing, if you're able to connect once, might just get you to a board state of parity, and parity's winning for you. So I'm sympathetic to the outcome, but at least we got a tight 3 games here. So we'll see how the last one goes.
Well, as they say, this one's for all the marbles. It all comes down to this. We've got both players, game 3, in the finals of the top 8. Doesn't get better than this, I'll tell you that. We've had some great matches tonight. It's just going to keep going. Great players, great matches, some sweet decks. Here we go. It's all down to the last game.
Yeah, exciting.
Players in for their game 3. All right, here we go. Looks like Magikarp is on the play. Here we go.
So yeah, Ambisan has to be a mole.
It looks like
Just
both
can't.
players probably have to be a mole, so let's
Oh, I'm guessing
move.
Magikarp is just like a pile of power or something.
One power and a bunch of
Oh, they both have
expensive
one.
units.
That's so funny.
Yeah. All right, better hand for Magikarp, but a little slow. Iron Priestess, Orange Jailer, Valise, Stormhawk Concoction, and a second
Uh,
copy of
this
Valise.
line X is so sad if you keep. I think you have to go down to 6,
Oh,
even on the draw.
Magikarp!
Like
Magikarp went to 6.
if I was Ambi, I would have went to 6. Like you do have Manacles and Defile and some good things going for you. Okay, if you know you're gonna draw the power, then it's
I
fine.
mean, unfortunately for Magikarp, that was not a bad 6. He had a Darli in hand, followed up by a Tara, but the power is depleted here, so that's actually unfortunate. You had to wait till turn 2 to play your Darli, and then wait till turn 3 to play a 2-drop is pretty frustrating.
All right, so the engine's humming for Ambien, being rewarded for keeping the sort of hand. You have enough action to get the board to pseudo parity at least, and then eventually you could get this Linux online to take over the board. So, and Magikarp ultimately missing the third power drop. Not what you want to see in the finals, especially after clawing back in the previous game. But so from Ambi's side, okay, your opponent missed your power, like did nothing with their third turn. Of course you're happy, but like how do you push your advantage the most meaningful way? And I agree with developing a Valkyrie here. That way you can have some more Valkyrie warp actions going forward.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Or options, yeah. Magikarp finding the third power, so being able to develop a unit. So Ambi's like, okay, I can expect you to play probably one unit every turn. What's my best line to get us to pseudo parity? I have these Manacles that I can allow you to have at least one extra unit out, and then I'll just deal with that later.
Gonna plunder, yeah, gonna
Actually,
plunder
getting rid
one.
of one of them.
Yeah, getting rid of one, put one into a sigil. Want to make sure that they can double spell at some point in this game. Big Tara here. It's actually kind of relevant here. That's gonna knock that up. Gonna
Yeah,
probably eat the Silver Slicer, but
well, I think they just both get Manacles.
yeah, that's fair. That's a better option there. Get both those Manacles, and then this next turn, I like plundering that power too, because setting up for a really nice turn coming up here. If AmbivalentThoughts is able to Molten Wing into a Silver Slicer, that is brutal.
Yeah, so
Oh, gonna Vicious Growth or
so you
over
get to
Orange
unlock.
Jailer. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to unlock the
Good.
Tara. But the problem is, yeah.
Oh,
So
it doesn't double though. So notably,
right,
Tara says when an enemy kills it.
the shame concede.
Oh
Yeah,
no, the shame concede. Alrighty. Well,
like in Ambi's defense, like they were statistically ahead at that point.
yeah.
Of course, you don't want to see it go that way, but still, I think first TNA in the season, very cool to see Magikarp in the finals. So I guess I have to commentate more. That way, more Misplay members can do well in these events.
Something like that. All right. Well, we will have to look. So interestingly, because AmbivalentThoughts won the challenge, that does actually shake things up a little bit because they were going to be one of the 4 wildcard slots. So with AmbivalentThoughts winning that one, we're gonna have to take a look. I'm not gonna say for sure because I'm gonna have to update the standings and all the stats and tiebreakers and everything. But with AmbivalentThoughts getting a trophy, that is going to open up a couple more options. So, the Overmasters, Joltairs, Avion still alive potentially based on how tonight went. So we'll have to take a look at that. But that's all for tomorrow. We'll worry about what that says tomorrow. But congratulations, AmbivalentThoughts. Like I said, the highest winning player all season long had not won a trophy for the first 11 events and then wins the last one, wins their 12th event of the season. So well-deserved. Also 12 different winners. That's kind of impressive. No repeats, 12 individual winners. It's pretty cool over the course.